This PowerPoint focuses on moving westward in the 1800s. This trail was known as the California Trail. It was mainly used by colonists who were heading westward, looking for gold in the Great Gold Rush. It eventually was used by other colonists who were heading westward, wanting to settle in the California regions. You can notice by looking at the map that the trail ended up in several different locations in California, and one part even went up into Oregon. The California Trail originally started in Independence, Missouri, and then began to also go out of Iowa. The trail was approximately 2,000 miles long and had an average travel time of 6 months. Another trail the colonists used to move westward was the Santa Fe Trail. The Santa Fe Trail also started in Independence, Missouri, but this trail ended in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It was approximately 1,200 miles long and had an average travel time of about 2 months. A third trail used by people to move westward was the Mormon Trail. This trail was primarily used by a group known as the Mormons. The Mormons traveled on this trail that was approximately 1,300 miles long, and it had an average travel time of 4 months. It started in western Illinois and ended up in Salt Lake City, Utah. Mormons were looking for more room to spread out and settle, and for religious freedom to practice the religion and live the way they chose. A fourth trail was the Old Spanish Trail. The Old Spanish Trail started in Colorado and northern New Mexico and went westward to California. Most colonists who were traveling along this trail were looking for gold in California. It was approximately 700 miles long and had a travel time of 7 weeks. It's the shortest of all the trails that are mentioned in this PowerPoint. Another trail that is also very famous is the Oregon Trail. The Oregon Trail was 2,000 miles long and had an average travel time of 6 months. There were several stops along the way, as you can see from the map, at different forts and locations where they could get supplies that were needed on this trail. The earlier you traveled along the trail, the less developed it was. Even though there were several stops, it was not an easy trek to take for the colonists. There were very few stops along the way among these trails. There were 7 forts along the Oregon Trail, but that covered and encompassed about 2,000 miles. There were 6 along the California Trail, which was also approximately 2,000 miles. The Mormon Trail was a little shorter. It had 3 forts along it. Santa Fe Trail only had 1 fort along it. And the Old Spanish Trail, which went from the New Mexico area to California, had no stops along it. People who traveled westward at this time were not young men and women with backpacks traveling cross-country. They were families. They took everything they owned with them that they could possibly take. They took livestock, food, supplies, and anything their family would need as they trekked across the country for several months at a time. They had to be prepared for the different seasons as well as the dangers that faced them. Wild animals and natives were 2 of the major ones they faced. Here's a video that focuses on Manifest Destiny. The colonists desired to settle from not only the east coast of the continental U.S., but also all the way across to the west coast of the continental U.S.
Here's a little story I'd like to tell about the land that we love and know so well. It started small, not much to boast, just 13 colonies on the east coast. As time went by, Europeans moved west and took native land, calling it conquest. Why they do it? It's easy to see, an idea called Manifest Destiny. Georgia, 1828, the Cherokee Nation was the center of debate. They did their best to assimilate, but their land was some primetime real estate. So when Andrew Jackson laid the feud to rest and forced them to leave in the name of progress. Over 15,000 faced their fears in what later became known as the Trail of Tears. Alabama,
and we don't stop.
Mississippi,
and we don't stop.
Arkansas,
and we don't stop.
man, there's women and children dying, make it stop. Illinois,
and we don't stop.
Missouri,
and we don't stop.
Oklahoma,
and we don't stop.
they reached the end, but they paid a heavy cost. By 1840, we cleared the east of native peoples, may they rest in peace. With guns and steel, the whites had their way. Now they set their sights on California. See, Mexico, as we know it today, is only a piece of where it used to lay. Back in the day, it included LA, but expansionists had something to say. According to them, it was part of God's plan to spread our culture all across the land. Our democracy was simply the best, so it's only right that we take the Southwest. Others spoke up, so let's take it slow. We need to respect the rights of Mexico, but James K. Polk took the reins. War broke out and more land was gained. New Mexico,
and we don't stop.
Arizona,
and we don't stop.
Texas,
and we don't stop.
man, it's destiny, it was meant to be. Colorado,
and we don't stop.
Nevada,
and we don't stop.
California,
and we don't stop.
we reached the Pacific, will it ever stop? Man, we came a long way since Jamestown. I don't think that Pacific Ocean's gonna stop us. Alaska,
Don't stop.
Hawaii,
Don't stop.
Guam,
Don't stop.
the Philippines,
Don't stop.
American Samoa,
Don't stop.
the Marshall Islands,
Don't stop.
Puerto Rico.
Don't
It keeps going and going and going and
Don't
going.
stop. Stop. Rob, 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 rob.
I hope you enjoyed my PowerPoint. Here's a list of the resources I used.